experience, he says, serves him well in this very new role.
What's up?
Looks like we got us another hit.
Dot says tempers flared outside of the auditorium after HISD limited access to the room. A board meeting and budget workshop was taking place. Houston Chronicle posted this. Roughly 35 chairs were set up for the public in the auditorium with 310 person capacity. Members of the public who were not permitted in the meeting room were sequestered into an overflow room where speakers' comments were broadcasted via live stream. So, kind of why I wanted to cover this a bit was because I don't know if I think I covered it on the show, but HISD was taking over, right? And they put this guy in to run it instead of the superintendents, the elected officials that were put that normally how it normally works, because they were saying HISD has been failing. So, and this guy, one of the things he did when he first came in was he told everybody that they have to reapply for their jobs, So basically, this is a lot of, this sounds like, it smells totalitarian to me, because these officials aren't elected, and then they're making these decisions, and then, and this is a scenario where they're not even allowing the people to be involved in the, the board meeting, which normally is supposed to have people involved in it,
Man, I smell. All right, I'm gonna be more mature in this, but look, say, bro, I'm surprised that this dude can breathe today. I mean, and like really anybody that's supporting this whole movement, is insane, because like this is where our school board people don't really have a voice for what's going to happen with the children. Like, honestly, me personally, like I really feel like this is a point in time where we can show them better. We can tell them just withdraw our children, and they can, those who believe in that kind of stuff, all right, y'all fall into it. But, it's almost better that you don't even send your kids to school. You can teach them life just at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're trying to send them through some kind of special programs that which ain't really that special, because most people who go through a lot of this stuff still, if you're not already, programmed and controlled, I mean, you're probably not going to get the job. But it's, that's bad sign, bro. It's just horrible. Like,
let me play this. Let me see if there's anything in here worth the shit.
We signed up. We're speakers.
I'm a speaker too. I'm a speaker too. I'm a speaker. I'm a speaker. Y'all, I did what y'all asked me to do. I did what you asked me to do. I asked to sign up. Open up the door. Y'all are cowards. Y'all cowards.
We signed up.
So, and one of the comments, it says, let them in. I want to hear them and see them. No excuses. Enough. Sick and tired of TEAs and the state of Texas authoritarian behavior. Instead of being upset that they got conned by 45 and putting policies to prevent from happening another time, GOP rather continue on the same path. No one is fooled. You clowns got conned. Move on already. Let us build our future. It will be better, guaranteed, for all, not just a few. I hate how they like to throw in GOP and 45 in this, because this kind of thing is happening across the board, and I don't think that you can pick one side related to this.
Yeah, that's dirty. I mean, and like really anybody that's supporting this whole movement, is insane, because like this is where our school board people don't really have a voice for what's going to happen with the children. Like, honestly, me personally, like I really feel like this is a point in time where we can show them better. We can tell them is, and just withdraw our children, and they can, those who believe in that kind of stuff. All right, y'all fall into it, but it's almost better that you don't even send your kids to school. You can teach them life just at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're trying to send them through some kind of special programs that, like, which ain't really that special because most people who go through a lot of this stuff still, if you're not already, programmed and controlled, I mean, you're probably not going to get the job, but it's, you know, I, it's that's bad sign, bro. It's just
Let
horrible. Like,
me play this. Let me see if there's anything in here worth sharing.
We signed up. We're speakers.
I'm a speaker too. I'm a speaker too. I'm a speaker. I'm a speaker. Y'all, I did what y'all asked me to do. I did what you asked me to do. I asked to sign up. Open up the door. Y'all are cold. Y'all cold.
We signed up.
So, and in one of the comments, it says, let them in. I want to hear them and see them. No excuses. Enough. Sick and tired of TEAs and the state of Texas authoritarian behavior. Instead of being upset that they got conned by 45 and putting policies to prevent from happening another time, GOP rather continue on the same path. No one is fooled. You clowns got conned. Move on already. Let us build our future. It will be better, guaranteed for all, not just a few. I hate how they like to throw in GOP and 45 in this because this kind of thing is happening across the board, and I don't think that you can pick one side related to this.
yeah, that's dirty. I mean, and they're blaming people who actually try to help, give voice to people like this, like that always tries to confirm the fact that I work for you, not the other way around. So, um, but those types of things doesn't get promoted, you know, very far because, you know, people can, that's something that people will get behind and follow. It's like, because at some point, there's a lot of things that you might you agree with, but then there's going to be something that's going to come along where you're going to be like, man, you done threw everybody else to the side that would have helped. Now, you know what I'm saying? Now you're standing out here alone because you went along with the bullshit. You didn't care what was happening to everybody else. So now when something's knocking on your front door, you don't have neighbors that's like gives a damn with what you're going through because you didn't give a damn about what they was going through. So
Let me play some of this.
Days on the job, and the new Houston ISD superintendent is already making big changes.
Yes, employees from more than 24 schools just learning that they will have to reapply for their jobs.
Our Pooja Lodi is live outside of HISD headquarters, where she just spoke to the new superintendent and several new board managers. Pooja, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty busy summer.
It definitely is, because there are a lot of changes coming. Now, the new superintendent calls this the new education plan. He's starting off by targeting 29 different schools, but from there, he's going to go and target other schools. Superintendent Mike Miles spoke with us just after meeting with staff of some of HISD's lowest performing schools. He's asking every employee, from principals to—
Go ahead, what are you saying?
Well,
what was your comment?
Like the way that they're using the verbiage that they're using, this he's targeting certain schools and this, that, and the other. And I don't think it's a surprise that we're seeing an Asian guy here. This is a part of the transfer of powers. I believe that some of these things that they're talking about. 'Cause I don't have anything against Asians, but where a lot of the things, the agendas that's been going on, WEF and this, that, and the other. Yeah, like separate. There's schools already that already exist where they're supposedly preparing people for, children for the future. That you know, I you know, I'm old school. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that I am progressive to some extent, but I think that there are certain things that doesn't need to change the way that they're saying. Like we can just work on some of the institutions that we have, like changing. It's like some things do need to change totally, but let's focus on that instead of like how is it that everybody that was working there is just no longer good, and now like the whole point of them to get everybody to reapply for their jobs is that so that, okay, well, if you agree to go along with my bullshit and what I'm about to tell you, you're willing to submit to every little thing, okay, I'll let you come in. And this is not somebody who was voted in, bro. Like this is somebody who was appointed that is gonna now come and make decisions for every child in that, like in that county or those different districts. It's say, bro, this is something that people better pay real close attention to. And if y'all don't make some differences, or shoot, not be afraid to pull your kids out of school, and I mean, and teach them at home, because this is very much an indoctrinating type of force. This is for them to really take control of the next generations and to control the minds is how they do it. And
Because him saying reapply for the job, I may not necessarily have a problem with that, because they said that they were gonna pay him more and so forth and so on, and it reevaluate everybody's credentials and so forth and so on.
is paying
But
them more. Go
but
ahead.
but the part about him not being elected is the problem I have, with this. That they just appointed this guy and now he's coming in and making these kinds of moves. That's
Who
where
who allowed this? Like, how is this even possible to happen? Like, who has become so powerful that they can say, all right, you know what, the person that was here, we're not going to allow the same process that he had to get in the office or to take on these
it's the
responsibilities.
TEA or whatever, Texas Education Administration or whatever, and it was because HISD kept getting in trouble. Their scores were low. They had a lot of underperforming schools and so forth and so on. And
But
it was a long process, actually, because they were talking
I,
about it for years, and then finally
mhm.
they pulled the trigger.
But
And
that's
this
because,
is where we
that's
are.
because of the fear. That's because of the fear mongering and pushing people to where if they try to teach children the right way, like they're not doing. Like, bro, there's a lot of things that has been happening in our schools. I mean, I can probably say even back as far as when I was a kid. So, however long it's been a slow decline, but that's because of regulations that they supposedly are the smart people have made decisions that allowed it to get to this point. So, like, the people who are making these decisions are not being held accountable. They're creating these things where and making everything politicized, even to like a school board, like when you're dealing with the school board, like now it's like, okay, I'll step on this person so I can be able to get the job, and I can, like, it's sick, bro. Like this is and things are not getting better. I'm just here to tell you things are not getting better for our children, because all right, you know how I feel strongly about certain things that they're learning in school, but why are we not going to promote more study to where, like, instead of changing, making a new process to doing math, the old math is a problem now. Like, you're creating new things that even the teachers are trying to figure out and don't really believe in, but you're forcing them to teach children in a different manner than how their parents were taught, so the parents can't really help them when it comes to certain things and being able to propel and get past certain things faster because, okay, they didn't get all the attention they wanted in class. But, like, bro,
Let me play some more of this.
They're purposely doing this, bro.
Workers of the Wheatley Cashmere North Forest feeder system to reapply for their jobs this summer.
No organization can maximize its effectiveness if how it compensates people is not aligned to what it values.
He's raising teacher compensation at those 29 schools to a record $96,000 a year. Employees who weren't rehired will go to other HISDs, and soon, he says, all district employee pay will be tied to student performance.
There's going to be some anxiety on most of the summer, probably, but we will keep moving. We'll keep putting information out there so that we can turn that anxiety and fear into best hopes.
The district's new 9-member board of managers found out just last Friday that they had been appointed. These new managers have a wide range of professional experience, but only one has ever taught HISD students. Another appointed manager lost in the last school board election, and at least one of them, Rolando Martinez, has previously spoken publicly against the TEA takeover.
Felt like I had a moral obligation to participate in this process and to make sure that the community had someone that represented them.
Parents in the district should determine what they think about us after we've taken some action.
There's an achievement gap between our Black and brown students and our other students to the extent of 50%. Right here in HISD, that's criminal. As adults and as a community, we have to care about changing that, or we're saying that's okay with us.
Because I think all of us support the fact that kids need better than we're giving them today in HISD.
Yeah, so you heard what they said, like only one of them had previously taught, and like, where did they get these people? Like, they just randomly throwing these people in there in these positions. Like, that's what I don't like. Like, who are these people?
Say, bro, look, people are going to get paid good money because, like, that's something. Because, see, I mean, they know how to touch the certain buttons with people. It's like, okay, well, these teachers are going to get paid more and blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, we have to really kind of look at, okay, what are they teaching them? What are, how effective is it really on the things that they need to know as children? Like, there's certain things that, yeah, they need to learn certain things over time. But if they're having problems learning to read and this, that, and the other, why are you adding other curriculum? Because you still hadn't gotten this other stuff right. So now, like, I really feel like, okay, it could be something better, but is this it? I can't see that it is.
Let's read the caption underneath this. It says, newly installed Houston ISD Superintendent Mike Miles wants employees at nearly 30 campuses to reapply for their jobs. Let's read some comments. It's the first one. It says, there's no employment that's safe, so don't get too comfortable. HISD needs good teachers, and our students deserve the best education. I can't disagree with that.
Bro, AI gonna be teaching our kids before you know it, because no human is gonna do the right thing. Because especially the more people wake up and realize that a bunch of this stuff is crap and bullshit, and the totalitarian state is definitely gonna get to the point where, oh, these are our children too, because they've already started making these things. So these comments already. So if you decide that you want to try to take your kid out of certain schools and this, that, and the other, because of the funding that they'll miss out on, like, that's going to be a problem, and they're going to want to arrest you and, be able to take control of it.
That's scary as hell to think that AI would be the ones that be the teachers. I could see them using AI as a tool to help them teach the kids, but just using the AI as a teacher, ooh, that's scary right there. That's scary. That sounds like a dystopian novel or something I've read. Let me read another comment. It says, $96K per year will bring in more and better teachers, but this feels like a great way to make sure you don't have enough teachers in your schools.
But look, it also makes it where that, you know, to keep this $96,000, you're gonna tell these kids what I tell you to tell them. You're
Mm.
not gonna, you know what I'm saying? I think that's more so the control mechanism that they're trying to instill in this whole debacle.
Yeah, well, I think that you do need to pay the teachers, and you do pay. You get better talent if you know, you got to pay for talent. That's how it
Yeah,
goes. And so, but yeah, I don't.
because they should get that money anyway. But I mean, I think that the teachers that has been there, like teachers who really believe and love and like did it to you know, because you know, without this money, should, you know, this extra money should be rewarded for being there and trying to do the best. But when they're changing curriculums that does not benefit the growth of the children, it's not necessarily the fault of the teacher. It's more so the system that's failing.
Right,
And you know, like,
because they
so
don't get to create the curriculums; they have to follow those.
yeah.
And so, but the other comment this guy said, he said it's a great way to make sure that you don't have enough teachers in your schools. That could be a good point because, you know, 96K, and then people are going to say, where's the money going to come from? And the funding to these schools have been cut year after year after year after year. So that'll be something that needs to be looked at, related to, you know, people voting to make sure that these schools have the funding so that they can pay these teachers and so that the kids can have enough teachers in the school. Because if you're paying them 96K, they're automatically going to be a problem with funding.
Well, the money is like, you know, the money is there. Like you said, I mean, we can create ways to get that money, and I don't think that we should find excuses why we can't pay the teachers. But I think that we do need to have a more direct, you know, look at what's going to be taught, and you know, okay, who's going to be the best to achieve these goals. So uh there's a lot of things that's there that, I mean, they could have done with our existing teachers that would have, I think, incentivized them to make sure that these kids are learning, or you know, maybe getting more involved with the parents so that the child can actually you know, like when they're not on path to say, hey, you know, let's get this done, let's get that done, because overall, if they're going to give incentives that's going to allow these teachers, you know, like to be able to keep their pay because of the scores, they're going to do more things, they're going to get more creative, they're going to do things just like these new people will. But I think it would just be more effective if, like, real teachers, people who went to school for this because they wanted to, because this is something that they enjoyed. A lot of them stop enjoying it because of all of the politicalization of their jobs. It's like, look, we're just here to try to teach kids, and now you want to bring this, you want to take this away. Okay, this is too much time centered on this. Like, well, no, they need more time on this because look at their scores. You know, it's just.
I get your point. It's great. I mean, if we want to focus on teaching the kids, let's focus on that and let the teachers do their job instead of politicizing everything. And now the teacher got to be worried about, you know, some politics coming into their classroom when they're just trying to freaking teach the kids. Like,
Yeah, I got a bunch of family that like I know, like they don't give up on the kids. They've gone through the, you know, making the $20,000-$30,000, and maybe, you know, now they're making, I don't know what they're making now, but like I've seen some of the frustrations and the things that they're going through, and now when you're willing to pay extra money, you know, you're saying, like, what is their, you know, what is their value? Like, I mean, the system, it wasn't really the teachers, it's the system, it's the you know, the practices that's going into, you know, what you're telling them to do.
yeah, I
Yeah, you know.
completely agree with that. Let me read a couple more. It says, in the armed services, we have promotion boards. In civilian life, I have recertifications and reviews. So this keeps 10-year guarantee from dulling performance, IMO. Okay. Another comment, it says, this will be interesting to follow. Yes, I'm definitely going to have my ears to the street on this. Another comment, it says, I worked under Miles in Dallas. He is horrible. He made all the sub superintendents who hadn't been principals at a level, elementary or high school, lost their job and got demoted to principals. He doubled observations. I had like 12 observations when he came to the district. I would never work for him again. So, I always wonder, the people that get selected and chosen and put into positions like this, like, always feel like they were probably doing horrible stuff. And that's the reason why they were chosen. You know what I'm saying? It's like the opposite of the
Bruh,
way things really should work, like,
we definitely see eye to eye on that, because that's the thing. Like, that's why some people get promoted, is because they're willing to do things that others don't see
right.
necessary or might see as being wrong. And like,
They're willing to put all of their real values to the side. They're willing to put their integrity and character and their real true views aside to follow whatever agenda the higher ups want them to do. They're willing to do the job that
well,
others aren't willing to do because
uh,
they wouldn't be able to live with themselves at the end of the day. Look at themselves in the mirror. But some of us don't care at all. Like, we just want power, we want control, we want money or whatever, and we're willing to put our integrity, our character, on the back burner.
that is very true. And like I said, some of them, like, I don't think that some of them started out with no integrity. I mean, I was having a conversation with my brother and my cousin earlier about how there's like some dudes that will date somebody's wife, or go and having a, what I'm saying, they know that they're married, regardless of how close they are. It's just like some things are just not the right thing to do, and some people it just has no effect on them at all. Like, they don't see that as being a problem. Like, to begin with, like, that's just like, oh, well, that's just like, it's still kind of living in a high school type of mindset of like, oh, well, I got her now. Like, he must not have been doing the right. It's just, it's I don't know. It's a bunch of stupid shit
Yes.
that's going
I
on.
think this guy may be getting set up for failure too, though. He might be a scapegoat because if this thing goes left, then they can place all the blame on him, put it in his lap. You know what I'm saying? And, that might be the plan all along. So you never know.
Yeah, I
Uh,
guess that's possible, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, we need to keep an eye on this story.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this. Let me read a couple more comments. It says, "This is awesome." Another one, it says, "Where exactly are they going to find all these new terrific candidates?" That's a good question. Another comment, it says, "Let me finish my certification, LOL." I ain't going to lie, that's the way I'm thinking because, hey, I want to get a piece of that 96K and I do want to freaking help the kids. So that's the direction I'm going in. I would like to, this time next year, be applying. It may not be HISD, but, somewhere to work as a high school teacher. Let me read a couple more comments. This one says, "I'm moving back to Houston, LOL." Another comment, it says, "Did he say high performing parents?" Yeah, high performing parents. What the hell does that mean?
It's those that make money.
I guess
Maybe,
so. Or
maybe,
maybe they just
maybe
mean the people that are, more
put.
involved in their kids,
Well,
education.
and that also could be a part of it, but I also believe, just I don't know, that how you get a certain feeling about certain things because of like, because they're putting certain things in certain wording, and when I hear it the way I hear it, it's just kind of like, I don't think originally it was meant to. This whole idea is not meant for the growth of the people.